Hello, it's Lisa with Soulshine, and we are in a deep dive of love all this year. This month we're doing patience, and it's the third week of patience. The first week we looked at patience with self. The second week was patience with others. And this week I am looking into the source to see what the Bible and God say about patience, because for me, I feel like that's the best source that I have access to. I could look at Hallmark, I could look at my old, history of patience, but I just really wanted to know what the source says about patience. So I literally Googled, what does the Bible say about patience? And this is what came up. The first one was, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. And to me, I feel like that reads into good times or bad. So regardless of your situation with people or yourself or your finances or marriage or work or whatever, I feel like it's telling you just to rejoice always. And I like that it says be patient in tribulation. So in bad times, just be patient. And for me, I feel like that means you've got some faith that you know it's going to get better. And I'm going to talk about that more at the end with a little bit of summary. So you're going to want to hang out for the final points. But for right now, I'm just kind of brain dumping all of the patient verses that I could find. The second one was from Romans, but if we hope for what we cannot see, we wait for it with patience. So that reads to me like things in your current situation are not optimal. They're not what you're hoping for. They're not your best case scenario. Maybe you've got some health issues with somebody you love or yourself, or maybe you're just in a rotten marriage situation, or maybe you've got some really toxic friends, or maybe you just you're not even satisfied in your own skin. It's New Year's. There's a lot of resolutions, a lot of weight loss resolutions and health, things that you're trying to try and change, but you're just not patient with yourself. And I feel like it says you just have to hope for what we cannot see. So imagine it as if it's done, because the Bible also says you ask for it and you receive it. So you say, I've got a husband that speaks nicely to me, and I've got, finances to pay off everything, and you have hope that one day either you'll have the wisdom and discernment to make the right changes in your life to make it so, or things will come to you. I like the fact that it says we hope for what we cannot see, we wait for it with patience. So that tells me right there you need a little bit of faith to have patience. They kind of go hand in hand. But I don't think you need much. I mean, I don't think you need, my mom used to carry around a necklace, or wear a necklace. It was a little clear glass globe, and in the inside it had a mustard seed. And as a kid, I was always like, what a strange necklace to carry around a seed. But she would say that the Bible says you only need faith that small. And apparently it's the smallest seed, but it grows into the biggest plant. So you only need a little bit to go a long way. The next one is from Galatians 6:9, and let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. So that kind of carries over into the previous one, where you wait for it with patience for things unseen, but also takes it another level if we don't give up. So just keep with it, just don't give up. Even if things look bad or feel bad, or you're in a situation where you require a lot of patience, just don't get tired of doing good. Don't give up. Don't settle, and don't just succumb to what the world expects of you, or what your angry thoughts or bad thoughts are telling you. Because gosh, don't you get them all the time, the ones that tell you you can't do this or you can't do that, or you're not going to be good at it. I know I do. I have those all the time. So it tells us to not grow weary, and then don't give up. Just don't. And the next one is from Philippians 4:6, and I think this is tattooed on like 30% of the world right now. Don't be anxious for anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And I like I like that. I mean, it's so, everybody seems to know that Bible verse, but I like that it says anything and everything. So, but in everything by prayer and supplication. So it's not, it shows me that he's not a halfway or kind of sort of kind of God. He asks for anything and everything. Nothing's too big. He wants 100% of anything and everything, whether it's my biggest fears or my tiniest worries, the darkest places of my heart, and at my absolute joys and thankfulness. He wants it all. And so we can share it with him, and whenever we're impatient with ourselves or others, we can just kind of like know that somebody else is there to share that goodness or badness with us. And he's able to handle it. I like that nothing is too big or too small. He wants not just our love, but the total package. I like that it says, let your request be made known to God. Like, he knows all your issues. He's not oblivious or distracted, but he still wants you to communicate with him. So if you're impatient with yourself, if you're having a tough time loving who you are, then take it to God. Like, I really don't like the person I'm becoming. Help me to become a better person. I don't like the friends that are around me. Help me to find better friends. Help me to find the qualities that I want in myself and other people. He just wants you to take that to him. The next one is from Ephesians. With all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love. And I like the action words here. I like the word bearing, because that I had to Google it, because you think you know what bearing is, but I like to read like what the definition says, because I'm a word girl. That's what I do. So it says bearing means the level to which something bad can be tolerated. So like a tipping point, like you're bearing with it with endurance, with tolerance and acceptance. You're not trying to fix it, but you're bearing with it. So with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love. So you've got right here, clearly back in the Bible days, they had people that were rude or unkind or misguided back then as well. I mean, this isn't new stuff. So it's important to bear with them with patience. It's an action word. It's not going to be like fairy dust that's going to come sprinkle upon you and all of a sudden you're just gifted with patience. You have to do it. You have to apply it, which is why I wear the watch this month, because it does take some work to be patient with myself and with others. I physically have to use all my tool belt items, my soundboard, my space bar quiet, my don't say anything space bar. And if you didn't watch that video, I'll link that below, but that was last week, my sound bar tip from my daughter. But it does take work. It's not magical. It's not, some people have more patience than others, but you have to ask for more of it. It's a training thing, just like working out. It's something you have to build up. Some translations I like the action words here, take some effort with all humility. So some translations, instead of with all humility, some translations say be completely humble and gentle. And I like that version a little bit better, because completely humble and gentle, I like that it implies not halfway, like give 100%. Don't just halfway it, like I'm humble and kind to some people, but not humble and kind to other people. Or some of the time I am and some of the time I'm not. Just try and be consistent, and that's really tricky, but again, use your tool belt. And this next selection of 4 are from Proverbs. And to me, when I flip through Proverbs, I call them, this is my own little thing, they're like Christian fortune cookies, because they're short and to the point. They're very sweet, but they're packed with a punch. It makes you really think about life, and you can apply it in different ways to life. So the first one is from Proverbs 16:32. It's better to be patient than powerful. It's better to have self-control than to conquer a city. And I like that. I like the idea that it's that you're more powerful just by being patient. Like, you don't have to go out and fix all the world's problems or all the people in the world. It's best just to be patient, and you have faith that somebody else is working on it that's bigger than you and much more powerful and effective than you are. it's almost like you can get more bees with honey than with vinegar. I say that all the time. At least I think. I say it in my brain. The other one is patience can persuade a prince, and soft speech can crush strong opposition. That one really does sound like a fortune cookie. But I like the idea that patience can persuade a prince. So somebody that's in a more powerful position, it would be more appealing for you if you're just soft-spoken and thoughtful. To me, that's what that conveys. And soft speech can crush strong opposition. Like, I've run into a ton of people in my experience that are loud and obnoxious, and I don't really think they're getting done as much as they think they're getting done. Like, I don't know, I think it's better just to have a soft voice. I used to do this when I would substitute teach. When the crowd got a little bit louder, I would bring my voice down like this. And you probably just did the same thing. Your ears just perked up like I'm telling you a secret. And the whole crowd would pay attention. And it's an attribute that it's a proven fact there that when you do speak more softly, people are going to listen. I think it's a powerful, another tool belt item. The last one is a hot-tempered person stirs up conflict, but the one who is patient calms a quarrel. I would rather any day calm a quarrel than stir up conflict. And sisters and maybe brothers, there are tons of people out there that love to stir up conflict. I'm not one of those people, and I don't like being around those kind of people that stir up conflict. They make my shackles stand up. They're just no bueno. They're just out for trouble. And I doubt that when they put their head on the pillow at night, they're super proud of the day that they spent, the person that they are, because that's just a naughty, not nice person, that hot-tempered person that likes to stir up conflict. And then the last one is, whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered displays folly. Gosh, we don't use folly enough. That's a funny word. But whoever is patient has great understanding. I want to be that person. I want to be the person that has great understanding. And that person that has great understanding has it because they're constantly watching and observing. They're not constantly spouting off, word. You're not quick-tempered. You're not, quick to speak. You're slow to speak, and you're quick to listen, which gains great understanding. But the one who's quick-tempered displays folly. Absolutely. That person that just flies off the handle. My husband had somebody that flew off the handle with him today, and he definitely displayed great folly. It made no sense to him and to me. So part of this study, and that's the Bible verses that I pulled up. There was one more that I wanted to talk about. One that made no sense to me, but the more I thought about it, here it is, Genesis 29:20. So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. I love the patience here, and I almost didn't use that in my writing because it didn't have the word patience, but the actions displayed such patience. Like, Jacob loved her so much that time stood still. It didn't matter that he had to slave away and work to earn her hand. He was patient, and it seemed like a few days because he loved her so. Like, I want to love so well at the end of this study that regardless of the amount of work, or regardless of the world at large, or the people that I interact with, it seems like no time at all because of my amount of love for that person, that community, our nation, our world. It just is fleeting. It doesn't matter. So the reason why I'm doing this study is that I want to gain more and more love. For me, I wanted to know, specifically in this month 1, I wanted to know what patience looks like and how is it an attribute of love. Is it deep breaths when you're frustrated? Is it tactics, like tool belt tactics when dealing with annoying people? I think that's some part of it, and they help in times of stress when it's easy for me to snap. But ultimately, I think patience is more. It's an expression of faith. Faith that it's going to get better. and faith that you don't have to engage and fix every single thing with every single problem, with every single misguided person. Faith that you know someone is bigger and more powerful and prolific, that knows the ultimate end game. Like, I don't have to know every single detail because I know somebody else is taking care of it. Somebody also that knows the deepest desires of my heart and loves me still. I know that he's that way for me when I'm impatient with other people, when I want them to change their bad habits or annoying ways. He's that way with me when I stray off path. Like, sometimes I kind of want to do it my own way and I'm disobedient, or I clean my house too much instead of doing the thing that I should be doing. He's definitely that way with me when I don't plan and I get hangry and I snip at my kids or yell at poor Charlie. He doesn't deserve that. But he's that way with me in every single moment, good or bad, and he's that way with you. And I'm no different, and I'm no more special than you are. I'm just like Jeff says, I'm another bozo on the bus. So I tap into that awareness. I actually, instead of tapping into that awareness, I almost have to surrender to it, just like a big nesty plunge into the pool, just to know that somebody else has my back and your back, and exhale, fully supported, and that increases my faith, which increases my patience, and with patience and in patience, I'm able to love myself and love others and love God more fully and more authentically. Side note, one thing I noticed, because I'm into words and parallels and all that stuff, when you've got the whole 1 Corinthians thing that says love is patient, love is kind, that we've always heard in the weddings or funerals, love is patient, but when you look otherwhere in the Bible, it says God is love. So if love is patient, then God is patient, because God is love. See how it circles around? So at the end of this study, what we're looking at is love, but ultimately what we're looking at are the attributes of God. So how he sees us, but more importantly, who he is. Because how can you fully love yourself and others if you don't even know who you are to begin with and who he thinks you are? Because that's really the truth. You're just stumbling around in the dark, in my opinion. And that's somewhat effective, but if anybody's seen that Bird Box thing, stumbling around in the dark is difficult. So for me, this study is offering a huge flashlight in a dark world for myself and for others. And I'm shining a light on something that's been really, really sleepy for a very, very long time. And for me, at least, I've been going through the motions and, just doing what I need to do, the bare minimum of everything. And I've not been giving 100% of the most important stuff. I've been doing 100% of the easy things that matter the least, while I've been completely neglecting the most important parts of loving myself, loving my family and others, and loving God really, really well. And at the end of this year, that's what I really want. That's my end game, is to love really, really well. Not just half listen or half do or half accomplish tasks that I know I should be doing. Like, Jane's husband is having surgery and I have that little God tickle to bring them a meal, but I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to bother her. Just do it. Like, to me, that's 100% loving somebody. Just do it. Or I should be interacting more with my children instead of looking at my phone. Just do it. That's 100% loving somebody. So that's ultimately what I want to grow in, and not only add this to my tool belt, but make it habitual. Make it where I don't even think about it, that I'm doing it without thought. So if you liked this video and the others, more stuff is coming. It's just the beginning. I'm just starting, and each month I'm hopefully getting better and better at this filming and editing thing. So if you liked it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, ring that little bell so that you're notified when I add a new video. I'm trying to do it every Monday. And next month, I'm gonna dive into Love is Kind. But next week, I'm gonna finish up Patience, and I'm just gonna do a summary of how this has gone for me And I would love to hear how it's gone for you. If you're wearing the watch, if you taught yourself something about patience as far as patience with yourself or patience with others, or if you have some cool tool belt item that I need to use to be more patient with myself or others too. I love to add something else into my arsenal. So until next week, I hope that you like this video. If you did, share it with somebody that you think would love to hear it. And know that I'm sending you much love, and I hope you have a most marvelous day. Love you much. Mwah, mwah, mwah.